we'll just give it 30 more seconds and then we'll go ahead and get started. And some of you weren't on here yet. If you can share your video, I would love that. But if not, totally understand. I understand the low-key Zoom moment. So, okay. Well, we'll just go ahead and get started. Just kind of lay out the structure. I am going to do a little bit of a presentation, talk to you about who I am and my perspective on mothering mothers through my own experiences, whether that be myself being a mother or experiencing my mother mothering me, and just many different aspects of what mothering looks like, and especially what it looked like in our communities of the past. So my name is Marissa Baumgartner. My Indian name is Yik Yik Ala, which means red-tailed hawk. It was given to me by my great uncle, Michael Jughead Farrow. When I was a baby, he started calling me hawk because of my eyes. And I was officially given that name through ceremony when I was 12. And that took place at my Uncle Mike's memorial, which is a celebration after 1 year of an individual's passing that my culture partakes in. And that was a very monumental day for me, because from that day forward, I had been given this name in our language. And when we provide children with names, it gives them their role in the community and what that looks like. For them is going to be different than anybody else's. Our communities were very inclusive. Everybody had a role. And so mine, I know, is to be a guide and a teacher. And so this is a picture of my mother and I. This was, probably just a few months before I got pregnant with my first child. And you'll see many photos of her throughout here, as well as other people that I love. My people practice storytelling, and that's what you're going to hear from me today. And I'm just going to explain some different parts of my life, based from infancy all the way through until now. And then at the end, we'll see what time looks like. I would like to lead us through some breath work and meditation towards the end of the class, but also leave time for some questions if that's needed as well. So we will move forward. So this is a few pictures of me as a little one. In the top left, you have a picture of my mom and I. I believe I was like soon after I was born. I was a giant baby. My mother was 19 when she had me, and my father was 18. And so, as you can imagine, they were still children themselves. And I know that a lot of people have had young parents. My mother's mother was 16 and 17 when she had her two children. And so teenage pregnancy is something that was common in my family. I'm 26 and I had my child when I was 25. And there's this beautiful thing that has happened in my lineage of women, of mothers, where we exceed the generation before us. And I think that's very beautiful, and something that I think all of us as parents, we want that better for our children than what we had. And so that has happened in my family, and I feel very grateful for that. I forgot at the beginning, I wanted to just highlight and honor that today I will be speaking on my mother's side of the family and my mother's lineage, and that is no disrespect to my paternal side of my family. I honor them, and I honor my grandmother on that side of my family, who did a lot of raising of me and building healthy connections. So I did want to put that out there, because that's very important for me. I come from a split family, and I never want to disrespect anybody in my family, because everybody raised me, and I love them all for that. So yeah, this part of my life was very interesting for me. I didn't live with my mother until I was about 8. I spent the majority of my time with my grandparents. I still had a lot of connection with my mom and my dad, but I primarily relied on my grandparents for that support, the parental support at that time. My mom is an enrolled member of the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, which is where I grew up and where I live currently. And my father is non-Indian. My father is of German descent. And so growing up, I lived this paradox of a life of going from family to family, from culture to culture. And my dad says that family was Christian, and my mom's side practices our Indian religion. But that's very new to my lineage. Over throughout genocide, my family was converted to Catholicism, and that was ended by my grandfather, who you see in this picture on the far right, when he remarried to a woman who is a very traditional and spiritual person in our community. And he decided at that point in time that his family would not celebrate or practice Catholicism, and that he was going to step forward into this traditional aspect of who we are as Indian people. So that is very important. This is me at about 8 years. This here, these are just some of my relatives. This is my little brother Jace. I was 8 when he was born. This is my little sister Bella, and I was also 8 when she was born. And my mom and dad had babies at the same time. So funny, after they were separated. And so I have siblings who are really close in age. And then these little guys down here, this is actually my aunt, my grandpa's youngest daughter. This is my brother Ira, and this is my cousin Typo. He also is very much like a brother to me. As you can see, I was the oldest. I am the oldest girl in my family, which is also very important to think about in traditional indigenous cultures. The oldest child in a group was the leader and was supposed to take care of everybody else when it comes to safety. And historically, we would have been doing things like gathering firewood or going to get water, doing those little things. And we would have had the younger children with us so that when they got to a certain age, they would know what to do, right? So our roles in our community transition throughout the lifespan. And so I just wanted to put these here to just kind of show how I became a mother at a very young age. My little sister's mom experiences some severe mental health issues and addiction. And it's also important to note that my parents are in recovery. I do experience codependency. It's something that I work through every single day. And it's also a big motivation for me to set healthy boundaries and practices in place for my daughter. Yeah, so my little sister, I became a mom when she was born. Her mom wasn't able to build a lot of those connections with her because of where she was at in her mental health state. And my little sister is the most dearest. She's the best. She's a high school senior, and she's got straight A's, and she's applying for so many scholarships and is just doing so wonderful. And she's been given a very challenging assignment in this life, and she has done such a beautiful job at approaching it, and I commend her for that. She raised me in a lot of ways. Yeah, and this also is just to highlight that I love babies. I love children. I have always loved babies my entire life. I used to watch TLC shows of Bringing Home Baby, and I was so enamored with birth and all of these things, which is still very important for me in my work. So fast forward, we're going to jump through a bunch of things, because if I told you my whole life story, we would be here all day long, and I don't have that much time. So I am a first generation college graduate. This is my mom and I, and just me at my graduation. I received a bachelor's of science in human development and family science. And that was a very monumental time in my life. I went into deep self-study, applying different psychological, sociological theories to my life, and truly understanding how I got to where I was, what was different for me versus other people, what did my development look like, and why? How do I best understand myself so that I can help other people understand them? And to top that off, to be more than a statistic that I had every single odd against me as a child, and I was able to accomplish my dreams. I mean, my mom is such a beautiful person, and she always motivated me to do my best and to shoot for the stars and to believe anything's possible. And she truly is one of the biggest reasons why I am where I am today. My mom my mom came came to me right when I needed it in my childhood. Jory, if you listened to Jory just a little bit ago, she talked about the zone of proximal development. And as an 8-year-old child, I was really sad to leave my grandma's house, and I didn't know why I was moving. I didn't know. I grew up very confused and angry. And as hard as that transition was from going from my grandparents to my mom's, it was definitely the best thing that happened to me and what I needed. I needed the connection with my mother, and I also needed to be pushed. I was kind of a little stinker, and I knew it, and I could get away with a lot of things at my grandparents' house. And so my mom really created a lot of those boundaries for me, and just pushed me enough to inspire me and also teach me how to have control over myself and my life. So this was a really big day. And so from there, we're jumping to my pregnancy and being back home on the reservation. I came back home from college in 2018, the end of 2017, and had all these big hopes and dreams of all these things I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to teach everybody everything I had learned at school. I wanted to teach everybody about meditation and yoga. I wanted to teach everybody about eating healthy. There was a lot of things that I saw were possible. And what I came back to was a lot of sadness, was a lot of pain, was a lot of addiction. And I just wanted everybody to get better. I wanted everybody to feel good. I wanted it so badly for them. And when I came back, I spent the first year and a half or so working for our local tribal health center in alcohol and drug program. I was a prevention coordinator, so I put on family-friendly drug and alcohol-free events throughout the whole year. And I got to spend a lot of time with community members and elders who were in recovery, and I really learned a lot from them. But I also was in this space of trying to help the other addicts in my life. And I wanted so badly for them to be better and to feel good. And what I know now is that you cannot force somebody into healing. It has to be their choice. And that's something that my mom tried to get through my head for a lot of years. And bless my little heart back then, because I just had the best of intentions, but I didn't have boundaries with my health. And that is something that is so important for women right now, and just mothers in general. So after I worked in the prevention program, I transitioned to the maternal and child health program. And there I was a home visitor and the community coordinator. And I put on more events for the community, but this time really surrounding around parent education and systems development. What do healthy systems in maternal and child health programs look like? And how are we addressing trauma? How are we addressing mental health, not only in the adult, but also in the child? And that's something that's a very new concept in early childhood. I mean, even in general. I remember a few years ago when I was really experiencing some deep depression, I was very vocal about it, and that made a lot of people uncomfortable. And now I do feel like it's a little bit easier to talk about those things right now. They're a little bit more accepted than they were. And specifically talking about that in early childhood is very new for some people. So I got to spend a lot of time there. And then I got pregnant, and while I was working in that program, I got to go to like some breastfeeding peer support trainings that were tribally adapted. I went to a lot of different trainings. I learned about conscious discipline while I was at Yellowhawk, and that is a philosophy created by Dr. Becky Bailey. And it really puts human development in layman's terms and talks about the brain in a way that people can understand. And as soon as I found out about it, I was fully on board. It's something that I use every single day, not only in my own life, but also when I'm working with children and families. So there I was able to grow a lot. And I ambitiously decided early in my pregnancy that I was going to have a home birth, and I was determined to do that. However, we live in rural Eastern Oregon. There are not very many midwives in this area, and we do not have we don't have access to a lot of other birthing options other than going into a hospital. And that was something that I just did not want. I really wanted to experience my birth naturally. I wanted to experience letting my body do what it needs to do without being interrupted by bright lights or people asking me questions, or I didn't want to be hooked up to monitors. I just wanted to bring my child into the world in a safe, calm environment, because ultimately my goal for my child is for her to know what it feels like to be at peace. I want her to know that when she has times of stress, she can come drop down into her body and feel peace and feel regulated. Because as a child, I often felt unregulated, and that's a very new thing for me. Our communities deal with a lot of high stress, and bringing healing practices to my community in a way that is tangible is very important to me. And so I really devoted to more meditation and breath work during pregnancy. And also the end of my pregnancy was when we first shut down with COVID in March. I had my baby in June, and so it was a really odd time. And this woman right here, this is my step grandma. This is the woman that is my grandpa's now married to, and she has taught me everything I need to know as an Indian woman up until this point. Her and my mother and the other women you see in this picture, these are all my relatives. And we go out and we gather our traditional foods following the seasonal round. And this is the most pure moment that one could ever experience. Our traditional foods are very sacred to us. There is a creation story. We exist because they exist. And that reciprocity is something that is foundational in who we are as Indian people. And through genocide, we have lost a lot of these practices and lost a lot of these opportunities to gather as Indian people in a healthy way. And that can be really sad. I mean, it is really sad, and it can feel really heavy. But when I was pregnant, I knew that I wanted to be gathering these foods. I wanted to be practicing my culture, because when my daughter came into this world, I wanted her to begin to build her identity as an Indian person from the very beginning. And so going out and making sure I continued to do these practices, COVID gave me a really big opportunity. We gathered so much. My mom actually traveled with Linda. My mom's right here, and this is my step grandma. And this is my Aunt Tara. She's also a phenomenal gatherer and cultural historian of our people. My mom learned everything Linda knows. And that's the way that we say it. In our culture, we're taught things one time, and you either learn it or you don't. And so she took my mom everywhere that she went last year, all throughout our 6.4 million acres of usual and accustomed land that our people traveled historically, and showed her all the foods that she gathered. And that's how my grandma Linda was taught, was by elders before her. So this is what that community support looks like for me. But because of our modern world, we don't always have the time to do a lot of these things. I mean, we're digging up little tiny roots that are this big. Could you imagine having to survive on that? You know how much gathering you would have to do? I mean, we do it a lot, but it's on the weekends or right after work, and they're only here for a short amount of time. They come with the seasons. They don't wait for us. And so making sure that we get out to do that is very important. This was not too long before my birth. And this is me in labor. Like I said, I was determined to have a home birth. I found a very beautiful midwife out of Wallowa County, and she truly provided me with the best healthcare that I could have gotten while I was pregnant. She taught me so much. She provided me with so much birth education, and really prepared me for what my body was going to, my body and my mind, what my body and mind would endure. And part of my work with the health center was I wanted that birth knowledge. We have lost a lot of our practices and customs through through everything that's happened to our people, and those practices surrounding birth are really hard to find. So I spent a lot of time talking with elders and just asking questions. And for me, that, like I said, that birth, that portal of birth and labor, I wanted that connection to my culture, and I wanted that connection to my spirituality. And I wanted it to be supportive and quiet, and it was just that. And COVID kind of helped out with that, but also made that challenging because I was isolated quite a bit at the end of my pregnancy and in the beginning of postpartum, and that was a challenge in its own. And I did want to touch on this. When I experienced birth, I was very focused on my breath, and meditation and breath work has been a very big passion of mine over the last few years, because that's how I've learned how to regulate my nervous system. And that's something that I know that a lot of the children I work with in our community are really struggling with, as well as their parents. And so a big part of my work is to teach people what it feels like to feel calm in their bodies, calm in their environment. And so focusing on that breath and becoming present in the body is very important. And traditionally, we would have had things like this in practice at all times. We had practices like sweat to cleanse our mind, body, and spirit. It was an everyday thing. We jumped in cold water. We did these things. We had systems set up to take care of our minds and our bodies. And we have lost those throughout the years, and we have endured a lot of trauma in our lineages. And it's time now that we begin to process that. We begin to live less in a state of survival and more in that thriving area, right? We have to be able to move out of the survival state of our brains so that we can function optimally. And birth gave me just that. I mean, I experienced breath work at the deepest, most intimate, the most intimate way that you can. And it was the most beautiful thing that I have ever experienced, and I will never take that for granted. So now my daughter is 11 months old, and this is us just last weekend. This was also last weekend. And I mentioned that, you know, those pictures here, I'll go back. This, where we were at in this picture, let's see, it is the same spot as this picture that I just took last weekend. And this was a really special moment for me because, like I said, this is the most peer connected moment that has led me to this exact moment in time. Everything in my life has led me to this exact moment in time where I can teach my daughter everything that I know about who she is as a tribal person and what that looks like. And to be able to pass on my culture is so important to me, to make sure that our people continue, because we have a lot of medicine to share with this world. We really do. And I'm really, really thankful for my daughter. She has pushed me to be the woman I have always dreamt of being. And that's, you know, I can be really hard on myself at times because I want so much for her. I want what's best for her. And then I also have to remind myself that I wake up every day and I do the best that I can. And I'm just really thankful for her because she has taught me how to show up in a different way. And again, if you listen to Jory speak just a little while ago, she mentioned that as well. It's really showing up in those moments differently where I felt chaos, and making sure that she feels calm. And what does it feel like to feel safe in her body? These are just some of the women that support me. And like I said, the name of this talk was Mothering Mothers. And historically, we would have had a lot of support as mothers. We would have had grandmothers, we would have had aunties, we would have had little cousins, little girls, all playing with the babies. You know, we truly were raised, we are raised by a village. That's what's most important. And that's not only for the child, that's also for the mother. I have experienced, you know, these mothers who have gone through postpartum during COVID have been really interesting. And with my human development background, I've really been coming at my experience from an observer standpoint and really looking at what does postpartum look like? What are the things that are needed in our communities to support mothers? And how do we incorporate those types of relationships and support systems for our community? And my tribe is already doing a lot of things right. We have a home visiting program set up. We really are just in that space of creating systems that do support us rather than relying on the Western government. And so I wanted to incorporate some of the women that support me. This is my grandmother. This is my mom's mom. this is my aunt again, here's my mom, and this is my grandma, and this is my step grandma with my mom, my aunt, and myself. And then these are a bunch of ladies at the Longhouse, which is our place of ceremony. And we're actually had just got done cooking for a memorial that day. And being able to be with those women and cook our traditional foods and provide for our people is maybe one of my most favorite places to be in the entire world. The joy and the joy that you experience being with these ladies is remarkable. And then just, as you can see, there's multiple generations in here. We have all different age groups, and that's something that our communities did a lot of was be together and gather and celebrate. And that's something during COVID I have really missed. My daughter just heard was able to be at one of our traditional ceremonies for the first time 2 weeks ago, and she's almost a year old, and I had been waiting for that moment her entire life. And again, it was just another one of those things where you're so connected and tapped into spirit in those moments and into being a human in this life. And it was beautiful. The drums started playing and our elders started singing, and I couldn't help but just cry because of the pure joy. The songs that we sing come from that place of creation, and that's what our people have told us. They speak about the light that lives within our bodies, and babies are that most pure thing because they also come from there. So for her to be in that space and to feel what it feels like to be connected is very important to me, and I want to make sure that she always knows that, especially because we do go through times of hardship, and we do have addiction that runs in our blood, and addiction can swallow us whole without us even realizing it. And having supportive, healthy women in her life is very important, and it's very important for her and me. And I need to be able to rely on a multitude of generations to teach her, because I am only one person and I only have one perspective. That multi-generational approach is very, very important in our community. And my grandmother, like I said, she was 16 when she first had my aunt, and she lived with my grandfather and his family, and she really became immersed into our culture, and she still practices a lot of the things that we do. I go to sweat with her very often, usually on a weekly basis. She knows our songs, she knows our practices, she knows our teachings, and she has been my number one support person throughout my postpartum, and I'm very thankful for her. She's just at my house this weekend doing laundry, getting me caught up, and sometimes it can feel really hard for us to ask for help, but I feel very blessed to be able to have women in my life that I can rely on for support and not feel bad about it. This modern world puts a lot of pressure on women to do it all and to have it all together and to always have a clean house and have all your things done. At least that's the way I feel. That's the thing that has been projected onto me, and I've had to take a lot of pressure off of myself because of what I've been experiencing in my body over the last 6 months. And I'm just really thankful, and I'm really humbled for this experience. And why I also really believe in creating positive support systems for women in our community. And thus, we have Native Women's Wellness Movement. This is where I'm at currently in my life. Was this last weekend? Yeah, gosh, it already seems like it was so long ago. This is our local women's well-brighty group. If Marissa's still in here, she started this group in our community not too long ago. It is similar to a 12-step program, but it is culturally adapted. And Marissa has started this group, and the recovery community continues to grow in our community, and it is a very, very beautiful thing. I was very honored to be able to lead a meditation and share my story with the women who are doing the work, who are healing every single day, and feel very passionate about that. Like I said, I have tried to force people into healing, and that is just not a thing. You can't do that. So to be able to be around women who are actively doing this type of work and to share my medicine with them truly means a lot. And that's what Native Women's Wellness Movement is. It's about people who are actively healing, and specifically in our tribal communities. I hope to be able to hold retreats and to bring different healers and just knowledge keepers to our community, whether that be other Native people or non-Native people. I want to be able to provide community access to new knowledge and to provide opportunities for healing. It is also, it's also been me finishing an integrative energy healer and breathwork training and working on my 200-hour breathwork certification and learning what it looks like to be a facilitator. And I am just very honored to be able to serve people in my community first and foremost. So that is my little presentation. I think, yep, we're at the end of that. And we have about 30 minutes left. So I do have a playlist and I would like to lead us through a meditation. If you don't have water next to you, go ahead and get some. And we will begin here just in a couple seconds. Yes, Maurice, we should 100% work on creating a retreat. Okay, I'm going to play some music. Just 1 second, guys. Storing on. Welcome to All Tech Lansing. Go ahead and get comfortable. And when you are ready and willing. Oh, my sound is going to be technology. Okay, guys. The music sounds okay.
How's the sound, Chrissy? Is it okay? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and just come into practice. You can either be sitting or lying down, whatever feels best. Maybe just moving those shoulders, getting some movement in that spine. I know that's where I feel stiff a lot of the time. Closing those eyes. And when you're ready, just becoming still, breathing in the nose, exhaling out the mouth, breathing in the nose, exhaling out the mouth, breathing in, exhaling out the mouth. Feeling yourself coming into that body, tapping into that wisdom that was shared today, the wisdom of motherhood, the wisdom that has been shared through many, many voices. Breathing in the nose, exhaling out the mouth. Letting the sounds around you be with you, hearing them, hearing the sound of my voice. Breathing in the nose and exhaling out the mouth. Feeling the surface beneath you, feeling the clothes on your skin. Feeling anything that is touching you, and seeing if you can tap into that ground, that Mother Earth energy, tapping into that ground chakra, breathing in the nose, exhaling out the mouth, going down, connecting to the very center, the very core of Mother Earth, the light of this land, connecting to that light, breathing in, exhaling through the mouth, breathing in, exhaling through the mouth, continuing to breathe, seeing that light, seeing that very bright light, that bright light that is the land, that is you, breathing in, out. Bringing that light from the center of our earth, bringing it up through the body, through the root chakra, shooting it all the way through that body, that rod of beautiful bright light that lives within our bodies. Breathing in, exhaling, listening to the things that you're feeling in your head now, listening to that mind, hearing it, being with it, not judging it, being with those thoughts. Maybe they're happy, maybe they're sad, positive, dark, negative. Letting just be there, what's there. And seeing if there's any connection to any place in your body where those thoughts of that mind, where they resonate. Allowing yourself to be with your mind, being with the mind. Tapping into that Mother Earth energy, feeling that ground chakra be connected to our bodies, being in the body, feeling the body. Feeling the body and the light and the love that lights up this body. Feeling your spirit, feeling that spirit in your body, feeling what your spirit feels like, the vibration of you. What does it feel like to be around you? What does it feel like when others are around you? Put yourself in the state of the other. See you. Who are you? What vibrations are you giving off? Breathing in the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Being with you, exactly as you are, right now in this moment. Feeling your love. Feeling the love that you give to others every single day. Feeling what it feels like to show up for you. To show up for your love. To feel your love in your body. See yourself. See yourself. Imagining what your hair looks like. What are you wearing? Are there any special items with you? Special jewelry? Things that you have with you for protection? Seeing you exactly as you are. Seeing your love, feeling your love. Feeling the vibration that you give off when you go into a room. Feeling your body relaxing into the ground, melting into the ground. Being supported by that light that is you. Seeing your body, seeing your light melt into the earth, melt into the earth's light. And they become one. They become one and they are calm and they flow. Feeling the calmness, feeling the support of Mother Earth. And when you're ready, bringing to mind your mother, just your mom, bringing her to your mind's eye. Seeing her, just seeing her. Seeing her life, seeing her experience. Seeing her love for you, no matter how hard your relationship was or is, seeing her love for you. Seeing her when she was pregnant, with you inside of her body, tucked up, so close to her heart, so safe and warm. Breathing in the nose, exhaling out the mouth. Being in that space of warmness, that space of love, that space of support. Sighing if you need to, feeling that support, letting yourself feel that support. Knowing that you are safe. You are so, so, so safe. So safe and supported. Breathing in the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Breathing in. Out the mouth. Closing the mouth and just allowing yourself to breathe through your nose. Noticing that breath. Being with that breath. Continuing to breathe. Breathing in and relaxing. Feeling the release in your heart, the release in your shoulders, dropping down, releasing the hips, feeling that feminine flow. Releasing that belly, releasing the tension in the belly. Allowing those chakras to come into unison, feeling clear, clear with that light, expanding out into that side belly. Feeling what it feels like to support yourself in this way. Feeling yourself in this space. Coming into presence with the spaces in your body that might feel tight. And just listening to them. Seeing if there's anything emotionally attached to those spaces. And even if it doesn't have meaning or word to you right now, just letting it be and letting it go by. Releasing the pain in the body, making space in the body, releasing the stagnant energy, the stuff that felt stuck. Any spaces where we may have felt unloved. Dropping the shoulders. Releasing the tension, releasing the pressure, releasing the need to always have it all together, knowing that in each and every moment we are doing the very best that we can. The very best that we can in each and every moment. In each breath that we take, we release. We release the old, we release who we used to be. We step into our full and authentic selves. Calling in our ancestors of the light, of the benevolent and highest being. Calling in your ancestors, bringing them closer, feeling them by you, feeling them around you, feeling their support. Noticing who might be with you. And if you don't know, that's okay, but feeling their love, feeling that support. Tapping in. Seeing if there's anything for you to know in this space that we are in right now. This space in this moment in time. Feeling your ancestors, feeling the light, all beings of the light. And if they are dark, they must be willing to be transformed right now. If not, they may leave. Feeling the support of the light, the transformation of the light, the energy of the light. Bringing that light into your body, letting your body absorb it. Feeling the body, into the body, coming down into the body. Breathing in the nose. Exhaling out the mouth. Breathing in the nose. Exhaling out the mouth. Forceful breath, breathing in the nose. Pushing that breath out. Releasing all of those things that came up, breathing in the nose. Moving them on their way. Knowing that when we are finished with this meditation, as we come back into our bodies, we are refreshed, we are renewed. We are filled up with love and light. Breathing in the nose. Exhaling out the mouth. Feeling the body. Coming back into the body, back into this moment, back into the space in the room that you are in. Back to this present moment where we all are virtually, different time zones, different places, coming back right into this moment, feeling your body beneath the ground, touching the ground, feeling the surfaces beneath you, around you, feeling the walls, feeling the clothes on your body, feeling your fingers and your toes, beginning to wiggle them. And when you're ready, go ahead and open those eyes. Coming back into the body. Drinking some water, definitely drinking some water. Want to make sure that we're all grounded before we leave this place today. We have about 10 minutes left. If there's anybody that would like to share anything that came up for them during this conversation or the meditation, I would love to hear. Yeah, I'll just leave it open for a second and see if anybody wants to speak. I would love feedback.
Hi, Marissa. I'm Chrissy. How are you? It's nice to meet you and to hear your story. I sent you a private chat. I'll tell the room, but I was so moved by the story of the piece of the story where you are coming back in and bringing a 12-step program and adapting it to your culture. And I'm just curious what that looks like and just how it's going, and if you ever need support. I've been sitting in a lot of 12-step rooms, so I don't mind outing myself in this circle. So thanks.
Yeah, so I'm not actually the one that's bringing it here. It's already been here for a long time. And Marissa, who's in this group, Marissa, do you want to touch on what you're doing? I would love for you to share.
Okay, I'm Marissa, and I'm from the Umatilla Indian Reservation, and we actually started an all addictions. It's a grassroots 12-step recovery program. It's originally from the White Bison movement, the Wellbriety movement. So what we do is we gather every week. And we start with, prayer, song, meditation. We connect with each other and we share our experience, strength, and hope. Most people who come in, they're either in recovery or seeking recovery, have, struggling with letting some addictions go. And so we've been doing this for maybe a little over a year. And I've seen so many women grow. We're expanding. We just had our planning meeting yesterday. We're gonna start co-ed, and we're going to start some Narcotics Anonymous meetings out on the reservation. And I think that the more we take a look at like what we're going through inside, or maybe our childhood traumas or our past traumas or whatever it's in the way the barriers are from us to heal, I think all of us have been working together. We do have some step working guides, but sometimes it takes a lot to share about your past or traumas, and so we have to take breaks from working through those step working guides because it really takes a lot out of us. But we're called the Nikwai Women's Wellbriety Movement. And Nikwai means do good, do well, be at peace, and make friends in our Umatilla language. And we voted on that name. And so I'm certified through the White Bison movement. So we got to use the Sacred Heart for our symbol. And that symbolizes a lot. It symbolizes women who are in recovery, and it's really cool because it's the background story on it shares about how these women take care of everybody's, take care of all the children together. But it's really cool because how we run our meetings every week. A lot of people have children, and it feels good to be able to connect with other moms and other people out in the community who are struggling, or not so much struggling, but need to find interconnectedness. And I think that we've created a place for them to come every week. And Marissa did come in, and she did a great job with everybody there. So I'm happy that we got to share and connect. And she did some breathwork meditation there. And everybody was pretty moved by it. It was awesome. And so I'm grateful to be here. I think that's about all I can share.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was a beautiful description, Marissa, of all of the beautiful work that you're doing. You're doing amazing work in this community, and it does not go unnoticed. And I'm very, very thankful for you, and I'm very thankful you're here to support me today. I have just so loved watching Marissa's life blossom and grow, and she is a living example of what Native Women's Wellness Movement looks like on an individual basis, and how we share with each other. And I just love being able to be a part of what's already going on in my community. So yeah, thank you, Maurice, for sharing. And I also appreciate that we're getting to share, with all of you who are in many different places in the world. And I know that a lot of times we don't have access to the proper Indigenous education that all people in America should be hearing and knowing. And so to be able to share a little bit about the active work that we're doing in our community really, really means a lot to us. So thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to share anything or ask any questions? We have 5 minutes. I appreciate everybody's kind words.
I just wanted to say thanks for sharing. everything that you shared today. My sons have friends over, so I did mention to you that I did kind of share your story with my son, because I am in recovery. I've barely well, I'll have 4 years clean in October, but my sons went through the same type of situation Marissa went through. And I explained that to my youngest son and explained that to my oldest before he went on the radio. And he did an excellent job of sharing, you know, that he was with us, who raised him, who did this in his life. And he wasn't, it didn't mess up his story that he shared on the radio. So I told Marissa this a few days ago, and I'm just grateful for that.
Yes. I'm super glad. Yeah, and that's ultimately, you know, like the impact I hope to leave is truly on Native youth. You know, sometimes our parents do the best they can. They always are doing the best they can with the tools they have in that moment. And as children, it can be really hard to be understanding of that because we are also in pain. But we also love our parents so much, and we want them to be happy, and we want them to be successful. And that's a lot of you know, like I said, addiction can swallow us whole before we even realize it, and it happens to a lot of people on a daily basis. And we want to group those people into a negative. Society has grouped those people into a negative box, and you know, addiction is very taxing on loved ones. It's very, very taxing, and so I understand where the bitterness and anger can come from, and those are very important feelings that need to be moved through, and making sure that our children have a solid understanding of that is very, very important. And also, you know, making sure that they have the education available to them about what addiction is and how it can affect them moving forward in their adult lives. So, you know, sometimes as kids, it can feel like our lives are so horrible, and, you know, that our lives are so dark, and that's not always the truth. So I am just super glad to be able to support anybody in my community, you know, whether that's here on the reservation or not. I just want the best for people, and I want people to know that they do deserve to be happy. They do deserve to feel calm and at peace in their lives, and we can do that by taking care of ourselves, and that looks different for everybody. And breath and breathing is a very small portion of that. Just becoming aware of our breath can be the most foundational shift in somebody's life. So we have 1 minute. I thank you guys so much for being with me this Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. So glad to be able to share, and looking forward to whatever comes next. Thank you guys.